The last film clip we watched from Sin Nombre, a film by Fukunaga that came out in 2009, can be read in many ways. It's a story about two young people that are in a gang. It's a film about young people who are trying to illegally cross the border and move from Central America into the United States. So the film can be read in many ways. It's an adventure story, but it can also be read as a film about writing. As these two young people meet the boss of their gang and become members of the gang, they see that writing is extremely important, that the tattooing on the body is a way of showing others and signaling to others their place in their society. And even later in the film, as these young people try to illegally cross the border into the United States, the use of writing is extremely significant. As they look across the border, they see in the U.S. all these huge stores with all these huge signs written in English, and so writing is a way of delineating culture in those scenes as well. The next film clip that we'll be paying attention to is called The Fog of War, and it's a documentary by Errol Morris, and he interviews John McNamara, who was the Secretary of Defense of the United States during the Vietnam War. Errol Morris is an extremely eccentric documentary filmmaker. He isn't in the scene, actually, but he yells his questions to McNamara from off camera, and he asks him all kinds of questions. He asks him, why did you use napalm in Vietnam? And asks him very tough questions. And McNamara, on camera, responds to these questions. In the film scene that we're about to see, it's a very intense film scene actually, McNamara describes the use of firebombing in World War II in Japan. In fact, before the atomic bombs were dropped, many cities in Japan were bombed with fire bombs. And so to describe the cost of this endeavor, a lot of statistics are presented on the screen. And Errol Morris uses writing in a significant way to compare how many cities were burned in Japan compared to the number of cities we have in the U.S. And he also uses percentages to show what percentage of each city burned in Japan would correlate to U.S. cities if U.S. cities were firebombed. If you pay close attention, you'll see that even in one of these clips, that the city San Diego, our city where PLNU is listed. So writing is used in a very powerful, emotional, evocative way as McNamara cites what occurred during World War II in Japan. So pay attention to the use of writing in this clip as it conveys information.